Hello， 大家好，欢迎大家来到这个播客，跟杨老师学中文。我是主播杨丽群，我在泰国曼谷给您带来的精彩学习汉语和聊聊中国的节目。Hello everyone, welcome you all to Study Chinese with Teacher Yang podcast. I'm your host, Yang Lixun. This is a podcast about Chinese lesson and Chit Chat China, coming to you from Bangkok, the capital city of Thailand.The land of smile. Last week, we've been talking about the words related to mass shootings in the US. This week, we'll chit-chat about the recent serious event in mainland China, which happens once a year. It's called Gaokao in Mandarin. Some of you might have heard of this word. Do you know what it is shortened from? How essential and meaningful it is to Chinese people. How's this year's Gaokao like? What about a measure to control and prevent COVID-19 during Gaokao? All this and more. Please stay tuned. Gaokao is shortened from 普通高等学校招生全国统一考试. Again, I repeat.普通高等学校招生全国统一考试. Quite long, isn't it? So Chinese people just called it in short as Gaokao. It's actually the nationwide unified examination for admissions to general universities and colleges, or the National College Entrance Examination in mainland China. Generally, it takes place on June 7 to 8 every year.As of this year, this entrance examination or Gaokao started last Tuesday, June 7th, and it's lasted differently according to areas. Like, for example, in Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, Anhui Province, Jilin Province, etc., the Gaokao ended on June 8th. Some students in Sichuan Province, Jiangxi Province, Tibet,Autonomous Region had to take the language or technology test on June 9th. For Beijing and Tianjin municipalities, the Gaokao didn't finish until June 10th. After the test, it will take about 15 to 20 days until the results come out. So approximately around end of this month, the examinees will get to know whether they could enter the university of their choice or not.This year, there were 11.93 million applicants joining Gaokao. If we look at last year's statistics, there are 10,013,200 out of 10.78 million applicants got accepted. That was about 92.89%, which means only 8 out of 100 people will be disappointed.Even so, almost all children joining in Gaokao, including their parents and other family members, will be very stressful and anxious. Gaokao is considered an essential moment or event of their life. Well, I'm not exaggerating here. Some parents even decide to leave their job and move their house in order to find ways to get their house registration in the big city or province for the sake of Gaokao.Do you believe that? You might wonder what the house registration has to do with Gaokao. This is due to regional discrimination. In mainland China, a university usually sets a fixed admission quota for each province, with a higher of students coming from its home province. Take Beijing University, one of the top universities in China, as an example.Those who have the house registration in Beijing will have more admission quotas and therefore a greater chance to be accepted to Beijing University than those from other provinces. In addition, different provinces have different quotas. That is why to get a house registration in big cities like Beijing, Shanghai will help the kids' college entrance examination easier.However, the conditions of getting the house registrations aren't that simple. but most parents are willing to put all their efforts for the future of their child or children. To illustrate what I have just said, one of my Chinese friends is a good example here. She and her husband are from Zhengzhou City, Henan Province, so their daughter has to be registered in Henan as well, even though they live and work in Beijing. Considering her daughter's Gaokao, my friend tried to get her daughter registered in Tianjin, a city near Beijing, and sent her daughter to elementary school there. She and her family even moved to live in Tianjin. They bought a house there based on their kids' education. My friend still keeps her job in Beijing. What she does is to commute to work from Tianjin to Beijing by subway every day. This has been going on since her daughter started primary 1. Now she's in primary 4. And it won't end until her daughter takes college entrance examination or Gaokao and gets into the university of her choice. What's more is that they just have another child, the second one, a few years ago. I really appreciate her efforts to do all this for her children. Another example which reflects the significance of Gaokao for Chinese people is a story told by one of my Chinese students. She comes from Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. I met her at a university in Beijing where I taught English courses. During the speaking session, she told me how important it is for her to enter a university in Beijing. Back in the village of her hometown, her parents would be very famous among the neighbors if they know that she got to study at a university in Beijing. It's all about the fame and the kid's future, plus better life of the parents. If the kid gets good education, he or she would get a better job and earn better income, and parents usually expect their kid to support them when they get old. Well, this is just one example of my student. Not all, but most Chinese people think so. That is why Gaokao is so important to Chinese people's life. Now, let us see how this year's Gaokao situation like. As I mentioned in the introduction of this episode, this year Gaokao started last Tuesday, June the 7th. And of course, the COVID-19 is still around. Therefore, there are strict control and prevention over COVID-19 during Gaokao this year. All the tables and chairs in the exam rooms are cleaned by spraying disinfectants. There were temperature checks before students enter the exam rooms. Alcohol gels were provided all around the exam areas. Special zones has been set up for those who got infected with COVID-19. Either the hotels or the hospitals have been used for this purpose. Some students had to stay and take the test in closed zone for the whole period of Gaokao, one person per one room. The main aim is to let everyone get to take the test without being left out and to be safe as well. Not just the COVID-19 students who have got special arrangement for, the blind students also have got special arrangement for. There are altogether 8 blind applicants in 5 provinces who joined this year Gaokao. Braille test papers have been prepared especially for them. In addition, there were also staffs who helped lead the blind students to the exam rooms. The aim of letting everyone get to take the test without being left out has been accomplished here. Not even the blind were left out. Moreover, all examiners and other facilitators in the test areas had to get COVID-19 vaccine shots and get nucleic acid tests 48 hours before the test day, and also get health checkup 14 days before the test day. Not only the kids taking the test, their parents and the examiners, But the traffic police also worked hard during this Gaokao period. They not only facilitated the traffic, but helped out for any emergencies. Like this year, there was one kid who forgot to bring his exam card. One police officers rode him on the motorbike to pick up the card and send him back to the test room on time. There was also two children who went to the wrong exam location. The police also rode them to the right location just in time. Another boy didn't have his ID card with him. The officer also helped print out the temporary ID card for him. Just as the aim is to let everyone get to take tests without being left out. Well, there are more stories about Gaokao, how hard and how long Chinese students have to prepare before joining Gaokao, what they have to bring and can't bring into the test rooms, what are the tips for releasing stress, what if they don't get in, what to do and where to go. All this and more in the coming up episode of Study Chinese with Teacher Yang. 好了，今天的播客就到这了，感谢大家收听，咱们下周再见。Thank you very much for your listening. I'll see you next week. Have a good day.